Hello, welcome to this beautiful session, an interview with Amerly Centeno. Amerly is an amazing friend, and she's also the director of Quanta Academy. She combines professional expertise and her own life path of transformation to guide people into this beautiful work of family constellations. She also knows a lot about bio-neuroemotion. She has a degree, a master's on bio-neuroemotion. Also, she works with NLP. She's certified for NLP. And amongst many of her gifts, she's an exceptional teacher and a guide. Her constellations not only transform and help transform difficult life experiences, but also her heart and her empathy, the way she manages the situations, either in individual or group constellations, or even the trainings. It's very soul oriented, and it's a resonance that your heart just expands and you feel really loved and guided from a deeper place. So I want to, bring her here so that we can talk about the invisible loyalties that run our lives. And basically is how unconscious family dynamics shape love, suffering, anxiety, and relationships in our lives. Before we get into the family constellations, I would love for you to introduce yourself, Amber, if you want to give any other information. And also, I want to know what first made you realize that people are often living from invisible forces that they don't consciously understand.
Thank you so much first for having me here and spreading this philosophy that I know that you have yourself embraced and embody in a beautiful way. So first, thank you for having me and thank you for being a seed for this work for your community. And well, I'm just a person, a simple person living a human experience as everyone, and I dedicate my journey and my curiosity to help others and guide their processes. I am a passionate and enthusiastic and explorer of the human experience, not only for my background, and I believe all of our family system, our family tree, put us in that service, in that compensation. I bet in each family, someone is chosen to evolve, reconcile, and serve reconciliation of past, past hurts or trauma. So I'm proud to be that person for me, for my family, and seeing the improvements that you know transfer to the daily life. And we have observed through constellations that with our awareness, we don't only heal the present and transform the present, also the past can be transformed. It's a quantum physics premise, the particles that are in constant interaction, timeless and spaceless. And in my journey, I was amazed the more that I explore the human experience, how everything, and now Rupert Sheldrake with the epigenetics have proved that we are not isolated. We're never individuals living an individual existence. We are part of a whole, and we are guided by the morphogenetic field of our own family system. So in system theory, we are a system, we come from a system, and the nature of existence is systemic. So everything is systemic, and observing that, just awakening this inner observer, you can see how everything is connected. And I am one more link in this chain of life and experiences, um, that that have shaped me into who I am, into the service that I provide, and even into the crisis, traumas, conflicts that I am destined to live and experience in service of that evolution. Personal evolution, personal destiny, and collective destiny. And we are all taken by that. Nobody, it doesn't matter if you believe it, it doesn't matter if you know it, it doesn't matter if you even like it or not,
Exactly.
because it goes beyond your own intentions. If life was only intention, everyone would be, happy, fulfilled, and rich. Um, the human experience goes beyond the intention, in which you title beautiful this encounter, this meeting, these invisible threads that linked us into this compensation. Because in systemic, we study that there's premises and forces that guides this human experience. And in this force, one is the compensation, the balance between giving and taking, and everything that happened before that left open um, certain unities of love, reconciliation, crisis, are energy that it's needed to be resolved or balanced, harmonized. And that's why sometimes we encounter these crises, pain, suffering in service of reconciliation, to restore that wholeness, let's say, that homeostasis, how we say it in energetic terms. So this is what constellations do. And when I first met this approach, because I always had this curiosity of keep exploring
But I
more
wanted to know,
deeply.
like, what first made you realize, like, there's something more that's
Mm,
happening that I don't understand consciously.
yeah, well, when I introduced myself, even Bert Hellinger, he never said, okay, these are constellations. He was an
Right.
integrator. He was a philosopher, a therapist in many therapeutic modalities. And at some point, even integrating some of all these modalities, he was trying to translate some words, and there was a mistake in the translation, and it was constellation. And he said, okay, constellations, we can leave it like that, because constellations talk about an implicit order in systems. Uh, so it's nothing related to planets or astral terms, but order. And when I got there, it was out of my curiosity. I remember I was with a friend in a restaurant, and she was telling me some issues and troubles she had. That was a long time ago. I was in my 20s, with her father that just died, and she was in that grief, and she was with load and taking over so much. And I just don't know. Something inside me, of course, I was already an executive coach. I had background in psychology and all that, and always this curiosity to help others. I got some napkins right there with the noise, with everything. And I put the napkins and I told her, tell your dad that you're not him, that you're not going to live his life, that you let him go and rest, and you're willing to live your own life, and you don't have to carry this burden. She was sobbing. And after that, next day, she told me, like, I don't know what you did, but something in me shift. I don't know what was that, but something softened. And I remember the next day I was at work with my dear friend, and I told her what happened. And she told me, oh, yeah, you constellate her. When she told me that, I'm like, what, constellate her? That was the first time I've heard the word constellations. What is
Wow.
that? And it caught my attention. I start, Google didn't exist. AI
Exactly.
didn't exist. So
Very organic.
I was an explorer, so I started getting books and looking for people that can, offer this modality because I've heard of the philosophy. Because there's two things. One thing is the modality, the therapeutic modality, that can be an individual, that it can be in a group setting, but there's something deeper inside that is the philosophy that embraces the constellation. Living in that philosophy is what truly helped, uh, everything that shift. And I started learning about Bert Hellinger work and his books, and I remember that I did my first certification and was something that I started incorporating. I wasn't really tuned with the true impact of the ancestors in your own life and in your own experience. Because one part is the neocortex study and reading the books, and another is to stop and say, okay, now my own life, my own process, my own dynamics. Who am I? Where I come from? Who are my parents? How was the way that I embrace my own parents and my own childhood? What are the defenses that I created? The script that I am following?
Mhm,
When
mhm.
you stop and start asking these questions and process everything that is involved in that, is when the transformation truly gets you. And it, there was something, as you said, organic that started happening into me when I witnessed my deeper transformation after all my studies, after everything that I knew in terms of science, investigation, knowledge. I was always an investigator. But when it truly landed is when I start, and at some point it gets you, this need of observing yourself. And no college teach you that. It's all based in knowledge, wisdom,
Journal.
even exploration of variables, connection between variables, mm, statics. But then when you turn the gaze within into yourself and you observe, oh, okay, this is who I am and why. This is where I come from. This is what happened to my ancestors. This is the way I embrace my own source of life, and I am in service of repairing, compensating this. That is the moment when I took constellations as life philosophy. Because of the all approaches that I have learned, constellations offer this anchor in a way of living and embracing life where you make peace with everything, where you make peace with everyone. When you take your life and
It is.
stop trying to run away from it or changing what is, everything was perfect. When even the word forgiveness doesn't even exist because everything was perfect. So it was a journey, quite a journey, and a never-ending journey. I still um, get involved with the evolution of the tool because everything in life evolves. Nothing stays ever the same.
Right.
Even the therapy has evolved in a big way. So I'm glad to be part of it and still observe the field as this unlimited a space of wisdom and information. And now we know that many things that didn't have label before, epigenetics, quantum physics, neuroscience, NLP, how
Mhm.
they condense in that magic that happens in the field. I always say, when people ask me, what is constellation? I say, well, I can explain you with 1, 2, 3 sentences, and the explanation probably is not going to satisfy the need of, because you need to experience it. Something that you cannot explain, what is it? But for those that are initiating, I said, okay, constellate is to observe. Observe and give some order and harmonize a system based on certain premises, and offer a frequency of love and reconciliation to a moment in the past that is presented organically by the field, in which the love probably was overlooked, the order was overlooked, and that impacts your life. So we do it through representatives, we do it through the body. The experience is very deep, very somatic, and it really integrates everything that I have explored with my curiosity outside in other modalities.
And I like it because you, like you said, you unify all these curiosities, all these different learnings and teachings, and your training. It's very different. And we'll talk more about that. But I love that you integrate many, the Enneagram, MPL, like there's so many things that they work together. It's a beautiful harmony that just expands our capacity to be more at peace and feel more, in our heart. Like there's more tools. It's easier to use them when you connect and combine all of your tools.
And it gives you a bigger perspective of the human experiences,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we are these bio, neuro, psychological, energetic unity, um, that contains so much. I always say we have layers and bodies, the energetic, the mental, the emotional, the physical, the ancestral, and even the cosmic. Now we know that we have more than one brain. We have three brains that operates together because they're a system, and independently.
Really. Yeah.
So activating the brain of the heart, knowing that we have a whole new world there of neurons that are capable of develop and feeling gratitude, compassion, care, and activating this brain and giving it the importance that it has. Um, as a neuroscience student, I'm amazed the importance that we always give to the brain, to the neocortex, to the cranial brain, let's say, and we have forgotten and overlooked the information that is in the body, in each of our cells, in each of our molecules, atoms. Now, physics tells you there's no empty spaces, everything is full of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And we are no matter, we are void, we are energy. So everything that is contained in the body, all the experiences, everything that the body has gone through is memorized in the body. And accessing to that information, it's magical.
I love it. That's how we can really transform.
And living that coherence, because then the body informs the brain that the shift was possible. We tend to think that the brain informs the body, and it's all the way around. The body communicates with the brain faster, in a more effective way than the cranial brain with the body.
Wow.
So when we're able to discharge and offer that new frequency to these moments, that is absorbed by the body. We collapse a new wave. We're constantly transforming waves into particles, wave into particles. Everything that we perceive in a certain way, everything we speak, creates emotions. The emotions are that frequency, and we're constantly creating reality through the frequency that we emit. So that's what constellation does. It allows you to perceive something different, offer a new frequency, and collapse a new wave. That is the magic of it. I always tell people it's not something that we can truly understand in a
Right.
neocortex perspective. Yet the body leaves with this lighter sensation, and then the awareness come within. I have a client that just recently wrote an article after attending to a workshop. Beautiful, acknowledging the role he has played in his family and being aware of that and shifting the energy into his place of force. That is the force of hierarchy, being in our place of force. And when we embody that, we feel this fulfillment and this sensation of strength that we usually feel a little bit depleted, tired when we are out of that unique role that we have in the systems that we belong.
Yeah, that's it's super important. The order, the orders of love, and all that the wisdom. Because sometimes you feel I'm doing everything great, everything is wonderful. Yeah, my mom is the big one, but I'm gonna tell my mom what to do, and I know better. So there's so much peace once you occupy your place. It's a peaceful force, if that makes sense. It's a force, but it's not the same as forcing things. Like, some people used to living like that. And with this, I wanted to kind of like ask you, because we're talking about the invisible loyalties and childhood. Yes, in our own lives, we have things that we need to organize and hierarchy levels, and where are we in the position of our own family tree. And we will get more into that. I want to talk also about what happens when there's invisible loyalties. What happens if it's not just my own organization? What does it mean to have invisible loyalties?
All right. We belong to a clan.
Hmm.
We are dependable. When we're born, we're probably the the living beings that are more dependable at birth. So we belong to a clan, and of course, all of this process happens in a deeper dimension of the conscious or the intention. Um, we belong to that clan, and we grow up in that dependence. So there's a movement of life and a movement of death. That's what Bert Hellinger said. There's
Right.
two movements in your own journey. You can be in that adult compensation, being in your own life, and that happens in different areas: finances, health, mm, work, love. So you can be in that adult compensation in your own life, in harmony, everything going great. In some others, we can have that invisible loyalty when we gaze to the past. And of course, this is unconscious. This is a need of the family clan, the unconscious family clan, for us to heal and transform what was incomplete before. So everything that is grief, excluded, guilt, the child is in that magical thinking, in that magical, what we call blind love, in that entanglement and loyalty. Since they're born, they're in service of that past um, dynamic in which the soul says, I as you, or I for you. These two dynamics. These are these invisible threads, these entanglements and these loyalties. So we live many times in many areas of our life necessarily in compensation for what happened before or in repetition, compensation or repetition. I, in your place, get sick. This is the foundation of the disorders, actually, in children from the systemic perspective. The child identify itself with the suffering of the parents, of the elders, and the family unconscious in that level of the soul level has a reaction to it. So sometimes these load by destiny, by destiny. It's hard, it's painful, and these children need that their parents, their grandparents free them. Um, so the foundation of these disorders is the belonging of the clan. I am born in a clan, and unconsciously I have this need of belonging because the separation of the tribe, and it's in our archaic brain,
I was
cause
gonna say that.
pain, cause pain and suffering. So to keep belonging, I developed this script. And when I unconsciously say to my parents, I will not have a better life than you, I will not have more love, more intimacy, more success, more health.
And that is shown when they consciously, like when somebody consciously wants a better relationship. And I really want to work and succeed in work and money, but it's not happening. It's because of this unconscious.
Yeah, and that's why we observe sometimes that when we have the systemic permission
Mhm.
to achieve that, because so
Mhm.
many work with affirmations, visualizations, and that it's great.
But it's not working. You're still stuck.
But yeah, but there's something in the cells, in the genes, in the information, epigenetics, that is
Mhm.
transmitted, in which if I will not be loyal to this. So these perspectives are so useful for those that even work with children, and even for parents, because some parents, they take the children to therapies, or they want their children to learn to be better with the best intention, of course. uh, but I always, what I tell them is, they cannot do anything different that they do. They are in service. They can decide over their destiny.
Mhm.
They are meant to be entangled and compensate whatever their parents or their ancestors did or didn't do, or lived or didn't live. Whatever I lived in myself that I suppress, because the exclusion is not only people that I reject, that I judge, that I point. It's also what I live in the intimacy of myself, like my emotions, my the anger that I suppress, the sadness, the tears that I didn't cry. The child is taken by this need of compensate the past. So the child cannot decide to change their behavior. So the elders, teachers, parents, therapists are meant to know that they live this pure, childish, blind love, generous towards their own ancestors. And when the energy of difficulty is, they cannot do anything else but take it. Take that load. Mom, I'll carry it with you and for you. And we're all children from our parents. I'm not talking about only children. We are all children for
Yeah.
our parents and for our family.
Yeah. That's how I and you, we carry the loyalty still. That little
Yeah.
child is carrying it.
Yeah. So when we grow up as adults, now is when we can embody these forces of love. We can respect the destiny of our parents. We can start living our own destiny without compensation, without avoidance. Otherwise, we live our life compensating, not only for the dark, the difficult, the crisis, the beautiful things we live in, our ability to love, our resources, our gifts, our talents, our skills, our careers are also compensation that it's light. Some people says, yeah, but the constellations blame the past. No, not at all. It's not the blame. It's where we come from that we cannot escape. As adults, constellations also invite you, what I call this journey to the adult, invite you to embody this state of consciousness in which you as adult decide, okay, now I fix, I assume, I repair, I leave my emotions, I use the emotion that allows me to adapt to the present. um and I understand that since I was conceived and these epigenetic states, immediately I receive this information that I need to integrate about what my family could not resolve.
Exactly.
All those that suppress their emotions, wars, collective trauma, because the trauma is not only biographical, as you said, not only what happened to me, it's we carry a lot of collective trauma, and about whatever could not conclude, or these movements of fight or flight that could not be completed in the past, lack of respect, lack of reconciliation, lack of gratitude. We see it in these systemic premises that we embrace in constellation. So I always say that there's mm, a moral account in each living descendant. And we are in this journey to balance what we receive with what we give, gains and loss. We're all taken by it, all of us, like it or not, believe it or not. Life invites you to constantly reconcile polarities. So every time that I am in a polarity, means that I am recruited by a polarity that creates some judgment, resentment, mm, or against something else. We see it in religion, in those that are trapped by moral consciousness.
Feminist, the
Masculine,
masculine,
feminine,
feminine
yeah. All wars are made out of these moral
polarity.
consciousness. My
Mhm.
my my truth is the only truth. So even religions that are based on love
Criticize and
reject and
separate.
exclude something else. So we are trapped and recruited by these polarities, and these polarities feed from our energy and keep us in fight with something else. So life is constantly inviting us to reconcile with that other perspective. And I
So
think
you would
that is
say,
evolution.
thank you. So you'd say that that's why people repeat the same painful patterns over and over.
Yeah, I mean, the growth is in octavas. We grow in a spiral. Consciousness is in levels of evolution. If you read Dr. Hawkins' Power versus Force, he even
Love that book.
studied that. So if we don't look inside, turn on this inner observer and say, okay, this is where I come from, and these are my reactions, and these are my traits, and these are my instincts, and this is my wound. This is my personality. This is who I am. And don't evolve into a more wholeness, integration of what it doesn't seem like me, or we tend to live in polarities. We tend to be hating something else, rejecting something else, in fight, in the no. which creates a huge curve that later on will demand certain compensation with our health. Well, health is usually a movement of these forces of love when we have separated from this inner coherence, when we are rejecting something or someone from our lives, even emotions. So there's these movements that constantly invite us to keep repeating things until we're able to embrace it, to reconcile, to make peace with it, to say yes to the mother that I had, even though it hurt, even though it was difficult. Acknowledging what was. This is my source. This was my childhood. Stop running away. And we face it without the minimum intention of changing it or expecting something different. That is a challenge and it's a journey and a process for many. It's not something that you accomplish in one's therapy session. It's a journey, but it's a beautiful journey
Yes, and love
of
the way
taking an
you say it.
observation.
It's a way of
Absolutely.
being. For
Absolutely.
me, constellations, and every time we go through your trainings or even your workshops, it's philosophy of living, of life. This is my philosophy of life because it doesn't end. And another thing that I love that you say is, with partnership, like when you are with a partner in a relationship, in an intimate relationship, how you learn a lot. And I think,
Yeah,
what I understand is that we unconsciously sometimes, or maybe all the times, choose partners that mirror unresolved family dynamics.
absolutely. Partnership is a great topic. Love relationships are a great topic because couples we think we choose. I laugh when I read things like, choose well, choose well. You don't choose. I mean, you choose, your
Aha.
unconscious chooses not what you want, what you need.
What you need.
What you need, what your unconscious, you're not isolated. Your unconscious family clan chooses this person that will bring on many things that are still open. Usually partnership take us back to our parents, to the ways we embrace the union and merge of our own parents, the preference that we had over the other one. So partnership take us back to the childhood. It's a great way to heal the childhood and to see yourself. It's the ideal path of growth because you constantly see yourself reflected in that other person that is going to mirror for you so much. And it's a path of growth, the partnership, but it will always remind you. It's a way to compensate definitely for.
The unresolved.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's important to say that the history of our ancestors determine a lot of these dynamics, yet we decide what to do with them with that consciousness. Oh, okay, probably I'm repeating this resentment of my grandmother against men, or I don't respect men. And now what do I do with it? I call it the work of hammering the stone. It should
Beautiful.
be our decision to go for more, reconcile with the past, to decide to nurture ourselves, to know more, to choose. Because the adult, and another foundation of this work is TA, that works with the adult state of presence. The adult decide who, how, and to the most important is to start developing a more compassionate bond with ourselves. With ourselves. I would say that after that, the rest is possible. After that, the rest is possible.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you think? I mean, that, when somebody is emotionally entangled with a parent while trying to create a partnership, what happens?
Emotionally, you mean emotionally? We
Like, you
carry
feel that
emotions.
you are responsible for this parent, or like you
Mm.
want to save this parent and you pay the rent for this parent and you support them, and it's like, and you're also trying to form a relationship.
Yeah, that tells you that you are out of your place, and probably you are occupying the place of one of the parents to cover for one of the parents. And if the person doesn't do that movement of leaving the parents, at some point everyone has to, say, I will pay you back the life you gave me, and um I take it, with gratitude, and now with it I'll do something good for my new system, for my own life. We cannot pay back. Sometimes the soul has this movement of trying to pay back in that compensation of the past. It doesn't work like that. These people is probably unable to build an adult relationship, because if I am not the child, if I don't allow myself to be the child in my family of origin, in my nuclear family, there's difficulties making that movement toward the partner. That does not mean that you cannot help your parents financially. Please don't you know our parents are not getting any younger. It's okay at some point, but it's from what position we do it, from what space we do it. And sometimes we can, sometimes we cannot. In that inner coherence, so many do it because they feel obligated, even depleted, and
Yeah,
that it has a price to pay. Here, nothing is good or bad. It's just you create that awareness and see yourself, the role you're playing in your different transactions. And knowing that probably you go to the couple and you're not in your adult, you are in that child that it's needed to still be a child, because you cannot be a child in the other system.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all, I love that. It's all about bringing it into the consciousness and making a different decision,
Yeah.
because that wound, that weakness is still going to be there. But the moment that we're able to make a new decision, then we can shift it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Amir, you talked about the orders of love. What are the orders of love and why are they so important in relationships?
Well, nowadays in the new family constellations approach, we call it forces of love.
Okay.
There's four forces, and why forces? Because we have observed that these orders that Bert Hellinger spoke about, they are the invisible forces that move and order the field, that interfere, invisible in the field. I'm going to talk about each of them. Uh, but it's important to know that when we observe them in the field and we represent them, um, they push the person, the client, to life.
Mm.
They wanted to live in them. That's why we call it forces, because they act as forces. And in physics, we have observed that there's four forces: electromagnetic, gravitational, weak force, and strong force. When we observe those, we see, oh, these are these are the forces of love. It's just amazing to observe that. So the forces of love are these foundational premises in constellation, these universal laws of nature, let's say. They're always acting, and they guide life, and they guide our existence. So there's four. They don't have a certain order because they interact all the time. It's not that this goes first, or it's not a dogma. Um, I would say it's Bergelinger observes some of them even in Zulu tribes, in African tribes, observing the way they resolve their conflicts. So first, Bergelinger introduced the hierarchy, respecting for the elders, respecting of what was before. And if we observe nature, that beautiful nature that you have in the background of you, these forces are present there. Hierarchy, the big, the small, respect. Um, Another one that Bergelinger observed and introduced at the beginning was that compensation that we explained. Balance, compensation, everything we give, return to us. This is a basic law in life. Some religions even call it karma. Is not punishment, is an effect of physics, of a frequency that I offer
Exactly.
to life, I receive. And everything that happens before, it needs to compensate, to harmonize. Even in the Bible, you see that one of the apostles asked Jesus when he saw something, when they saw something suffering, someone suffering, they asked Jesus, Master, who sinned? Him or his parents? So we see that even in the Bible, the compensation. Balance between giving and taking. Everything obeys that balance. Then in the evolution, Bergelinger introduced the belonging. Everything belongs. Everything belongs. In nature, everything belongs. Nothing is excluded. There's no moral consciousness. There's no right or wrong. Everything serves a purpose. Um, at the beginning, he said, Bergelinger had his evolution and said, okay, everyone belongs, but those who committed mm,
Crimes or
murder or abandoned their children. And he got them out of the field. He excluded them. And he observed that the clients didn't improve at all.
Mhm.
Until those, when he stopped interfering into the field and let the forces move it itself, he saw that naturally these excluded enter and reconcile. And after that reconciliation is that the client got better. So belonging is a force. Whatever we exclude, repeat. Whatever we reject, presents more and more in a new intent of a reconciliation. Life is always inviting us to reconcile with the opposite. That does not mean to dismiss the responsibility or
right.
no.
Or
It
to expose yourself into something that is dangerous for you, or it's,
it means
in your heart.
everything has a service and purpose and everything belongs.
Period.
And honestly, there's no victims and perpetrators. There's an energy that is exchangeable all the time. So how come I'm going to reintroduce the belonging of someone or something that caused so much harm and pain and damage? And then this force that is the vessel of all others, that is the yes, what we call the consent, the assent, the yes, is probably the most difficult force to embody and to live, but it's a force that gets through whole humanity and it drives the other ones. So the yes is that consent, what life has presented with my life as it was, with my life as it is. The constant yes, although it hurts, although I don't understand, although I yet, you know, can't do it because that yes is a process as well. That is the vessel of them. So we call it four forces. And as we are in the constellations, the constellation invite us to restore these forces. Mm, where I encounter with life as it was, as it is, and I say, yes, you are my parents, I am your child. So there's this order, this organization, and this harmony that start shifting into the system. So what we see through constellations is that everything is guided by this huge field where everything is in service of evolution. So that's why we stop talking about orders of love and now we talk about forces.
Okay.
Um, these forces, these orders are forces that exist in the whole universe. They act like gravity force.
I love it.
They're
I, I-
constant.
and I feel, I mean, you feel it. And that's the basis of a constellation. And once that order happens with the representatives or with the individual constellations, we feel this relief. And that's what I wanted to ask you next. Like, why? And you mentioned a client saying it felt like a Halls experience, like this refreshing.
Yeah, I just received a text from someone that I saw yesterday with a lot of burden. And we know some destinies are heavier than others. That probably we don't know yet how this load is distributed in between siblings. I don't know if we're gonna ever know, but that is part of the ascent. This is how it is. This is how the load is distributed. And certainly some destinies are more challenging than others.
I love that.
I don't I don't think that anyone has a destiny that you cannot bear. Uh,
Agree.
but that was a deep work that I did yesterday with this client that she was like, she
How do
texted
they
me last
feel?
night, like she texted me like, I feel like I ate a whole like one of those mint.
And yes.
I feel like
But
I ate
that's
a
how we
whole.
feel after every constellation. And me, when I guide the constellations, when we go into the workshop, it's like even before anything changes externally, why do we feel such a relief?
It's magical how the body. And again, we're not aware of it, we're not conscious of it, but the body holds all this information.
Mm.
And when we truly offer the body in service, not even a seeker of the constellation, in service with this, what I call emptiness, this void, no intention, no drama, not acting, just in that present, and I allow my body to enter this space and this dimension or realm of the soul, and I let myself get guided by the energy, I discharge a lot of what is stuck in there. And the body then tell the brain, okay, we were able to reconcile, we were able to drain, to discharge. So, one of the purposes of each constellation is to access the primary emotion, an emotion that could not be felt, an emotion that is stuck, the emotion that I dragged from the past that keeps living within me because um, it, it it needs to be acknowledged,
Mm.
and also not only emotions but beliefs, these unconscious promises. I for you, I as you. So once the client is able to release, to say now me for myself and you for yourself, something shifts inside and the body feels lighter. This is the reviews that are usually immediately felt. There's some other movements that are emotion that takes the client to the essential next step.
Exactly.
Yeah. Uh,
Beautiful.
we are always in that. I would say it requires a little bit of humbleness and again ascend and surrender. Surrender is the word about that dimension, time and space dimension. And when we truly are in that space of surrender is that the constellation makes it full effect in our lives. Because it's not even related to the expectation that I have that this is going to cure me, this is going to save me, this is going to do it for me.
I was going to ask you that next.
Um, is when I observe the ancestral ties that I have towards the repetition of something. Also, constellation should be treated as a, with respect, as a secret tool, because some others come with curiosity of, I don't know, requests like, I want to clean my masculine lineage. I said, there's nothing to clean.
Exactly.
It's observe, it's love, it's gratitude, it's integration. In that word clean, first, there's exclusion because I don't want this
Sure,
to
it's bad,
happen.
right?
And second, it's something that is so external to you. I always ask the person, what is alive in your experience? What is alive in you right now? What is that is difficult to achieve or even challenging, a symptom, a conflict, a relationship, projects, work, something that is related to your own life. You cannot come with that arrogant expectation of heal your parents or heal what happened before you. What we have observed is that the present heal the past, but only when you focus in something that is alive in your own life, in your own experience. When we are grateful to the past, immediately there's this balance that manifests in that dimension. Mm,
Perfect. It's
yeah.
beautiful. Thank you for explaining it so easily and so well. I want to ask you because I know you have a new family constellations training that is coming, and it's a long-term training for someone who feels like deeply called to this work. Can you explain, what happens inside your training for family constellations?
Well, the process, I would say, is a process of inner purification. Is a process of making peace with yourself and with your past. Not everyone that comes is in the intention to serve the, it can happen after. um I would say it needs to be a process of self purification to truly serve. It doesn't matter the career or the service where you at. I have doctors, pediatricians that have done my training, and they are in their fields of service. Attorneys applying this to law, to their offices. Imagine how beautiful if I bring it into the concept of heirs, inheritances, divorce. How beautiful that one attorney can tell the other, respect the mother of your child, respect the father of your child. Mm,
Wow.
that perspective, it's applicable to all instances and all careers. So knowing the systemic, it's it's observing a bigger picture of the human experience and human interactions and being in harmony with them. So the training, I would say, is never a cookie cutter of, okay, this is constellations, you're gonna constellate 1 2 3 4, these are the steps. We review our own dynamics, our own family, our own ancestors, the morphic fields that trapped us. We access connection with our inner guide, so in that connection with our body, develop that intuition, that phenomenology. um, we sharpen the skills of observing without judgment, without polarities, without moral consciousness,
Mhm.
loving everyone, respecting every process. the orders of help that serve you, even if you're a mother, if you're a friend, if you're a partner. So it's not solely based in a skills for facilitate. I would say there's an inner process first, something inside to explore and to practice, to transform in yourself, and then you'll feel the call to offer these in any area of service that you're at. But it involves a deep process of self-observation, I would say.
I love when you said self-purification. That explains it to the T. I've done it twice and I want to do it a third time because it's like
Uh,
when you read a book, you read a book and you absorb some information. When you read it again, you're like, oh, wait, that was there?
it depends
Every
on, yeah, on
where
the
your
way you
level of
are.
consciousness, yeah. So it's been very helpful for me. What do you say that it surprises people most when they start this training? Like what are your comments or testimonials for people that have gone through this?
Well, what I received is always the awareness. First, the awareness as of how all my past influences my present.
Mhm.
That is something that, oh, wow, of course. And then the awareness of how everything that I live in myself impacts the whole. So when I shift something, even minimum, outside something shift, that is the most that I have felt in my own life, and I feel also the community that it's formed in between groups and
Family. Like
yeah,
family.
there's a lot of support, contribution. If you have a client and you ever need a group, you count off those that are part of the program in all cohorts. So it includes many perks, and usually one of the students told me like the program is very generous because I do this from purpose and love, and
Service.
my intention is to harvest this seed of reconciliation and evolution, and that's what I offer. So it's not something that you do, you finish, bye. It's something that I always keep, offering new experiences, nurturing, and giving support. I take it very seriously. That's why the groups are very small. This is not massive. This is not a curse that was created with AI that I give you and say, okay, whatever
It's
you.
not like a recorded module. It's like you're in and you have to read the energy of the
Right.
group and you exercise and you do constellations live as we're working through. It's
Yeah.
very, very present and alive.
Yes, yes. It's something that I created with a lot of love and intention. And also because once you told me this needs to be in English. I remember you to tell me, and I wasn't really sure or maybe even ready because my English is not like the best or my primary language. But I said, okay, if there's this signal and this need of putting this in service of this country that have, welcomed me and opened doors for me, I offer it. And since then, a lot of people have resonated, and that is something that I also have to appreciate you because you were one of those that told me, okay, you need to do this.
Ale, in English. I think we have so many trainings in Spanish. There's so many people doing it, beautiful people, that in English it's very limited. So yeah, I'm so happy. Thank you for
At least in this
following that.
new evolution, because there's and depends on and the part of Berhellinger that you study. Some of the facilitators kept in that old school,
Oh my
and
God.
and everything evolves in life continuously, and the contributions of my mentor Brigitte from Spain, director of the institute in Madrid, are amazing. I mean, she's an explorer of the field all the time, adding more and more um, insights and offerings that we all take. Even that language of the field, learn the language of the field. Is somatic coaching. Is so useful for
Love it.
everything.
That's what I like. Like you can use this in your daily life. It can help you purify your life and make it a philosophy of living. Like I apply it with my children, with my relationship, with my work. I do constellate, but a lot of my colleagues don't. It's transformational, and it gives you tools to become an expert in managing your life.
And yes, and you know what? That in there's this place of application, as you said, that I put it in service of whatever I do. I embody this in my life, and it's something that lives within. And when you can gift a client with an anchor for living, because what I feel, even in the therapeutical, the typical therapy approach of client, or no, let's not even call it client, let's call it patient, right? Which is detrimental for someone, to call it patient. They develop that relationships, sometimes parent child, child parent, and it's like the client depends on the therapist to what to do, what to tell, what to. And when you get this philosophy, and that's what it trapped me. Remember before you asked me about how constellations, because constellations offers you an anchor, resources, tools for living, in which you go, you take them, and you say, oh, okay, in this part of my life, in this conflict, what I'm lacking: respect, gratitude, balance, belonging. I'm excluding. So I see my participation. I can move on into a more adult state in this transaction. Otherwise, you bring everything to your therapist, say, is this
Did
right
I
or
do a
wrong?
right thing?
Is it
Yes.
good or bad? And the therapist telling you, you should, you have, you must, or how do you see it? Here is that you can self evaluate yourself and seeing the response of the environment and the way you're bringing and you offering things in your transaction. So it is this tool what truly trapped me from constellations, the anchor in the philosophy,
Yeah.
something that you truly gift your clients.
Yeah, and you take it with you, like it's yours. Once you get this, it's you become more of an adult and you don't depend on anything external. It's more like self coherence, self regulating.
Exactly.
Okay, so I like this. Now, I have recommended, people, and I've heard that they're afraid of what they can uncover by doing this work. Some people are like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready. Oh, I don't know what's going to come up. What would you say to somebody that feels afraid of what they uncover during this work?
This work never go against your resistances. It embraces them as part of you, as part of your identity. The work will never go beyond what you're truly
Yeah, no.
able to open and to give. And it's very respectful. It's a very respectful approach. It
Hmm.
doesn't dig. You don't need to. People think that you have to ask your parents about, or dig into your family secret. Not at all. Not at all. I would even say some people have the same hesitant toward the group workshops, and I said we don't even speak. It's all body and
Yeah.
feeling, allowing yourself. There's certain level of openness and adulthood that it's needed, of course, to do this work. That's why we don't do it with children. Again, children, they're meant to do what they do. And that as adults, that presence, that willingness, nobody's going to do the work for you. But I understand that at the beginning there's a little, hesitance, but I always say, dare to try it. And maybe if you're not sure, come to a workshop, explore a little bit more, see some resources, some videos, and if you resonate with the tool found you.
Exactly.
And it's a sign and signal. If you resonate, it's because you are needed. Each family system needs a constellator, needs a reconciliator.
Mhm.
Many constellators are needed. Many. So if you feel that you can be the girl in that movie, Encanto,
I love that movie.
Disney movie, that is a
A
living,
full on.
that is a living constellation. That was another of the reviews that I received. Um, a student just finished the program and she sent me this video. My life has become a living constellation, she put.
It's so beautiful.
So yeah,
I love it.
I love to receive these things, and the credit is not mine at all. It's the legacy that Bert Hellinger left, my mentors. I'm just one of more seed transmitting, and you all can be too if you truly resonate. The resonance is needed, and then little by little, your heart will open as you explore more, as you dig into it. But it's even fun.
It's so much fun. I'm looking forward every meeting, every workshop. It's very, very enlightening and so much fun. And the
You are
results.
a living constellation, and I know constellations love you because you love them so much.
Yes,
Oh,
thank you.
yeah.
Thank you for being my hand
Of
because I
course.
remember the beginning. Like, I'm like, Emily, we have to do this. You showed me a beautiful side. Like, it's my favorite. You guide the best constellations for me. It's my favorite. There's so many. I've been to so many and they're beautiful. But for my resonance, this
For
is,
your resonance, yeah.
yeah,
Each person, and that's another thing, each person, I believe each family system choose the constellator that they need, that resonates. Some people come to me and tell me, oh, I didn't have a good experience with that constellator. I said, and that jet was valuable for
for you.
you because you know better. Um, so don't fight with the philosophy. Maybe
Exactly. Try somebody else, try
try
different.
somebody else, but the philosophy is sacred. It's based on deep, deep, deep teachings and energy and physics. It's beautiful, the alignment with life that you feel after it. The facilitator, I mean, you find whoever you resonate, you try. I invite them to try several and get, okay, I didn't like this, I like this, I like this, and you become yourself and in your own offering. I have this best friend pediatrician that the way she embraced this in her office with the little patients, talking to the parents, what's going on in the family, what are the emotions, what is alive in the family when the child comes with an illness, and the parent is like, oh, what is the antibiotic? Oh, yeah, we'll see if we need it. What? So the way to embrace this philosophy is beautiful and respectful. And and in that there's half of the work, I would say.
I love it. If there is one thing you wish every human being understood about suffering, love, belonging, what would it be?
Suffering is necessary. It's part of the human experience, and the only dynamic that connect us with deep learning processes. In suffering, there's signals. Nobody can escape from it. You can decide what to do with it. That is a personal decision. And what else you asked me? Suffering and
Love and belonging.
love is both an emotion that allows social connection, transcendence, and a more existential way of returning home where we come from. It's an uh, it's a meta emotion, actually. The only emotion that allows to transcend and leave a legacy. Not the
Beautiful.
emotional love, the existential love.
Yes. Yeah. And belonging?
We're all part of.
Belong.
If you're here, it's because you are necessary, exactly as you are.
Wow. I love those words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank
Thank you
you.
for your wisdom. Thank you for your
No,
time.
thank you for, just being another seed and exposing this work with so much love and respect. I truly respect what you do and your journey because you are someone that for me have walked the talk.
Mm.
Yes. In every, I celebrate and blessed and honor everything that I witness about your life, about who you are. Thank you for that.
Thank you. I feel the same way about you. I love you.
I love you too.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. And I hope that you really explore this beautiful tool, Family Constellations. And I'm going to leave on the notes the links and all the information to Amerly. And she's very accessible. If you have questions, you can always reach out and explore. If your soul is telling you, go for it. Thank you.